right. Well, let's talk about Gollum.
Do we have to?
Absolutely.
Can I just say, as someone who did not get a code, seeing you guys talk about this game in our Discord was the most fascinating thing I have ever had the pleasure of looking in from the window, because
It's been good.
It's been hilarious. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but the fact that you're talking about them the way that you have been is just like, it sounds like you're making this up through and through.
I mean,
where
do you even begin? Where do you begin? Because Jake, how far are you with Gollum?
I'm up to about the part where Ralph.
So me
quit.
too.
That's a breaking point, right?
Yeah.
Because you've been through so much at that point. So much fucking boredom. So many shit mechanics. So much stuff. And you're like, okay, I'm just going to push through this bit. There's a big crescendo. And when this happens, I'm going to get outside this fucking mine and I'm going to see a different part of the game. And then when you get through it and you don't get to somewhere else and you get to somewhere that's even more boring and more annoying, you're just like, I'm done. I'm finished. That's it. So I actually know someone else who's also quit in the exact same spot as that for the exact same reason. Because they were just like, when that happened, no, I can't. It's
just kind of, it's just, I didn't realize how much of I thought it was just going to be like an early sequence, but a lot of the game is like slavery simulator.
Half of the game.
Just, you're just like a slave and everybody's like, shut the fuck up. And you just like go to work every day.
No. My favorite thing.
Miserable.
They call him a little freak. Which is I love little freaks in games and movies like Salacious B. Crumb, Babu Frick, Turgle. I mean, I'm just naming Star Wars little freaks.
Yep, that's okay. We got them. That's what we're known
They're
for.
Here, we did it.
But like NPCs just go, what's that little freak doing? What's that little gross thing? Which I love. But also, again, where do you even start with this game?
I know.
Can I just say a positive? Can I say a positive?
Please.
With the weird,
absolutely
weird freak.
I would love to hear it.
Jake.
So I've been treating it like I like the weird freak simulator where you can choose how you want to respond as Smeagol or Gollum. So I love when people are like, "What's that little freak?" And then I just go, "Ha, fuck you!" Like
there it is.
The whole game I've been playing as like dark Gollum, just like going
too.
like I'm out for blood. I'm surviving.
You've been playing a Smeagol. No,
I've been playing a Smeagol.
It's way more fun.
He's so easy to steamroll when you have to have like the little conversation battles.
But I genuinely don't think there's a wrong answer. I've not had a single wrong answer. And maybe I'm just an elite gamer, or maybe it's just completely rigged.
It's because you're a Lord of the Rings fan. You know the lore perfectly.
His mind. It's so weird. Just so anyone just knows what we're talking about, at a certain point, because this game, you won't understand how weird this fucking game is. I think we need to explain it first, because when you hear about a Gollum game, you're going to have a pretty clear vision in your mind of what that is, right? You're going to be like, Gollum is a sneaky little dude, and he's going to be sneaking around and probably hunting in the open world, and he's going to be, strangling people, and he's going to be trying to make his way from one place to the other, and
coughing his way across Mordor.
Yeah, exactly. Like and some of that is true, but most of it isn't. And what this game actually is, at least in its first half, because there's no way I'm playing any more of it, okay, is that you are in a prison in Barad-dûr, right, in Mordor, Sauron's tower, and you are actually just a prisoner, like a long-term prisoner. You are there for years, okay? And you are essentially kind of like making a life there as a prisoner. You wake up in the morning and you go downstairs and you do like chores. You herd these weird pig things into a pen, and you go and collect the dog tags.
Yeah, they're like, the mine workers died. Go pick up their dog tags, you weirdo.
And
he's like,
okay.
And you go and do that. And there's this other thing where you have to go and breed a bird, and there's
that.
Oh, that was that almost broke me.
Pissed me off until I found the fucking
scroll
on the wall,
and it's like hidden away, and oh my god. Anyway, so imagine like it's this puzzle where you need to like take some logs, put a certain number of logs in a boiler, pump the bellows a certain number of times, go and get an egg, put it in some water. Like you need to do all these things. And unless you know exactly what you're doing because you found this weird scroll on the wall, you just keep fucking it up because the game doesn't tell you. It literally says, you figure it out, at one point.
Yeah, there's an orc in there and he just yells at you. Oh, and there's another room that they won't let you go into.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. But you go in there later, actually. But it's just like, why is this in the game? And there's also this companion system where, like, at some point, Gollum is able to command, for example, the bird that he burst. The bird now thinks that Gollum is his father, by the way, just in case we didn't, so he loves Gollum.
Is bizarre.
It's so weird, right? So Gollum is, yes,
Gollum
exactly.
is a father
that's right.
figure to a bird.
Correct.
Honestly, I like it. That's
So at one point you have to command this bird to go and collect things for you, but then later on there's another companion sequence where you need to command this human and teach him how to herd the pig things like you did when you first arrived at the prison, and it's so jank. It's the most
world's dumbest
jank,
human.
unfinished, broken thing. It's crazy. And then later on you have to keep commanding him around like this water puzzle kind of thing. That was where I quit the game. But again, it's like you don't imagine this is some kind of cinematic, semi-open world adventure where Gollum is, traipsing across the lands of Mordor and Middle-earth to try and get back to the ring. Half of this video game is you doing chores in the mine and listening to this weird sort of political struggle between Sauron and these other factions and shit. It's like this weird Machiavellian drama unfolding, and Gollum's just standing around watching these people talk. Like, it's impossible to describe what this game is because it's so fucking weird. How could you think this was the right idea for a Gollum game? I'm so confused.
Yeah.
So did you do the thing where there's a bad guy who's kind of like the leader of the slave pits called the Candleman?
Yeah.
And then my favorite thing about it is in the first cutscene where you meet the Candleman, he extinguishes a candle.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he's just playing with his guy. He's tending to his candles. Yeah.
There's a bit where you go to his office and there's an option to steal a bottle. So I did. And I was like, oh, when's this going to pay off? And then there's a thing where it goes cut to years later. Years?
Yes.
And I was walking down by an orc, and at this point, Gollum is established in the slave pits. He does the Candleman's bidding. He's like the pet.
Yeah.
And the guy who gives you bread says, oh, have you got anything for me? So you give him the bottle. And it's like, he held on to that for years.
In his pants?
For an extra loaf of bread.
In his little pants.
And I was like, what the hell is this? The biggest thing about this game, though, is how it fucking controls. Oh my god.
It is the worst. It's so bad.
If the camera is not up Gollum's arsehole, there are points where you climb, and have you had this? Where you climb the game and the camera turns upside down. It goes 180 degrees upside down.
Oh god, what is that?
It's so bad. Rough. And also, one of the mechanics they use in the climbing sequences is they don't show you what's behind you.
Yeah.
But you're expected to go there, and so you just get a little prompt to say like, oh, press X to jump backwards. And you're like, well, I guess there's something behind me. I don't know. So because I can't see it, I'll just press the X button. Oh, I got it. You know what I mean? Like, he can wall run like a fucking Jedi. Gollum can
Prince
wall
of
run.
Persia, Gollum.
It's
when that prompt came up, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the thing is that he has like 0 stamina.
He's winded
he runs
as hell.
for like 2 seconds and then he's out of breath. Oh my god.
It's wild because it's like there is like Gollum is like a little gross guy on all fours. Like he can scamper. I could see him scrambling up walls and climbing and jumping, but it's just so basic like Uncharted 2 level climbing, but like overly telegraphed and just kind of boring. I find myself kind of like looking at the environments, like the long distance environments, because at least those look kind of cool. But like it was like moment to moment stuff. It was like you could climb with your eyes closed, and all that. It's like the stealth too. It's like,
oh my god,
where Ralph, you were saying like you could imagine like at this Gollum adventure in a semi-open world, but like you can also imagine like a tight, simple stealth game.
Sure.
Where, you're just like being
sticks.
gross in the shadows. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so basic and barely barely a detection system to it.
The
And
enemy
it's so trial and error.
That, so there's a room, and I've replicated this in like a bunch of places. But if you are not on the same level as the AI, if you're on like a slight thing,
they get stuck.
They can't get you. So there's a room where you go in and you are kind of on this
Sure.
platform, and there are two guards walking around, and you have to use a rock to turn out the lights because that's seemingly the only thing that Gollum can do. You go into the room and they see you straight away. And then what you do is you just hang out on this platform and they can still see you and they talk about you and they're like, oh, we're coming to get you. But they can't get up there. Yep. So then I just backed out of the room.
all over again.
Yeah, I backed out of the room and I clung on the ledge so they couldn't see me. I waited for their alert meter to go down. And then I went back in the room and they just...
It's such a busted game. And like, and look, it's one thing to be like, oh, lol, this is so funny. But like, this is actually a $60 release as well, by the way. Like it's $60 and it's actually $70 emotes. With the bullshit stuff that they put behind a paywall where like they have the Elven language behind a paywall. They have emotes, like 6 or 7 really shitty emotes behind a paywall.
4 of them are him looking at a fly.
Yes,
I'm not even joking.
Yep. No,
4 of them
true,
are him looking at a fucking fly.
Would
and
you
one
call
of them
that
is him
a piss
saying,
take?
"My precious."
It feels like a piss take.
Yeah,
right?
It's a piss take. It is. Yeah. And also what they paywalled the lore entries. They're like a lore compendium that every other game just gives you, but this is behind a paywall.
Yeah,
and
weird.
it's so bad. It's so badly written and badly formatted.
Yep.
It's just so bad, you know?
Are we going to talk about the elephant in the room?
What's that?
Gollum's hair.
Oh
breaks
my
the
God.
game.
Gollum's hair crashes the game.
So, Jake, what did you play on?
PS5.
So our reviewer counted the number of crashes he had. Over 120.
What?
Oh
so
God.
He had hair mode turned on?
He had hair mode turned on. But even when he turned it off, it kept crashing.
Oh,
at one point, it wiped a save.
Oh my
Ralph,
God.
I know you had
120
issues.
crashes.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So so Giant Bomb has a new partnership with NZXT. So I have a new PC with a 4090 in it. Flawless. Yeah. I have that hair physics turned on because it's fucking poorly optimized as shit if you need a 4090 to run Gollum's hair.
Also, it's like 7 strands of hair.
Yeah.
It is. It's so bad.
Like he's like
he
doesn't have a lot of hair. Like it shouldn't be. It's not Geralt's hair.
Yeah. No, it's a top to bottom disaster. It's just like can't believe it. And this had
Music's
some serious
good.
marketing push behind it.
Yeah.
I mean, music, I don't even really notice the music, to be honest.
I'm
I guess
reaching. I'm reaching.
You are reaching. But like, it's just like this had serious marketing part behind it. Serious money went into this, promotion, whatever. Like you expect this to be good. There's a price tag that creates a certain expectation. But it's that level of bad that's just like, what the fuck happened here? It's just a total catastrophe.
It feels like old, and it doesn't feel old in like a charming way. Like, because I'm always down to be like, oh, it feels like a PS2 game or a 360 game. Like, but not here. It feels like not like, I don't want to say scam, but like it just feels like something happened.
I know what you mean.
Something went wrong. You know,
I do. I think it's a scam to charge $60 for what is clearly a very broken and unfinished game. It's especially a scam to put basic features behind a paywall. In terms of that. That's just abysmal.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way they should have at some point. The publisher should have bit the bullet on this and been like, "Listen, this isn't working as we'd liked. Either cancel this, which okay, fair enough, you're not going to cancel it, but at least drop the price. At least drop this to like $20, $25, max $30, and just like do a solid to the consumer and be like, whatever." Because now it's like it's Nacon and the Dailic Entertainment or whatever, their partnership. It's like, well, next time they come around with something, I'm going to be like, all right, well, I know what you put out last time, so let's keep that in mind. You know what I mean?
The thing that gets me is that, like, with Tolkien stuff, like Middle-earth Enterprises, the Tolkien estate, they're clearly... And I mean, you know, all this stuff about Embracer are going to make loads of Lord of the Rings stuff. Amazon's obviously wanting to get in on the pie. It's like, is this the bar of quality that we can expect? Like, if you're only looking for accuracy as it pertains to lore and how it pertains to canon, but you're not looking for accuracy in terms of an actual good experience or game, like, that sucks.
Well, this would have been obviously in train well before Embracer had acquired the rights, and I imagine they're going to have...
Tolkien Estate and Middle-earth Enterprises are still involved in the process regardless, because...
Sure. Well, I imagine they don't really, I would guess that group don't really understand anything about video games and whatever. So now that Embracer owns the rights, hopefully we get a level of quality associated with these games that has been absent to this point.
They got the lore wrong with the orcs. Like, they're just boring and they are dumb and they look ugly. And they also wear armor like the Planet of the Apes, the Tim Burton remake.
These weird bulbous armor that's just like, what is that, you know?
Some of them do have like the gruff London accents though. So I was like,
oh, do they? That's something.
That's pretty good.
But it's just they're not threatening. And when you're a little guy, you should feel threatened other than just trial and error gameplay.
Oh, the death animation when an orc catches you
and just punches you in the head.
He doesn't even connect though. He does this weird like punch where he doesn't. It's like a Hollywood punch where he kind of like swings behind his head and doesn't connect, and there's no sound effect. Have you guys like fallen in lava? And the hitboxes for the lava are like nowhere near where the actual lava is. It's like so much higher. It's so dumb.
Did you see what the achievement's called when you fall into lava for the first time?
Yes, I did see that.
It's called like not yet or
something. Yeah.
Which is quite good.
Yeah.
Oh, time paradox.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh man.
Well,
anyway, Gerard, you should play this, man. After you're done with Zelda, you should play Gollum.
I would love to make a series about shitty games and what it's like to complete them. And
it'll be tough.
And do like a day-by-day journal vlog of like
of your suffering.
This is what fucking happened on day one and why this sucks balls.
Today I played Big Rigs.
I mean, if people want to see it, I'll do Gollum first. That sounds like a garbage fire that I would love to look at and then be sad for it.
Yep. Anyway, don't buy Gollum, okay? Just don't. Whatever you do, for the love of God, don't buy it.
I don't care how much you like Lord of the Rings.
It doesn't matter how much.
Poor Rich, our producer, was like, "Oh, it's Lord of the Rings. I'm still gonna play it." And we were dropping clips in, and he was like, "Just
actually not.
Actually,
go and replay the old PS2 games. They ruled.
Yep.
They were fucking sick. Oh, great times, man.
I was hoping. Remember when I played the preview of Gollum? I was like, "Oh, maybe they'll capture kind of a little bit of that."
Yeah, but you were pretty mid on it then, and
I was like trying to be like, well, this is like a really early beta that they put in front of me, But no.
Nope.
Imagine if it came out in September when it was supposed to.
Oh my god.
Well, the fact that this was like the first actual like next gen game announcement,
yes,
and it came out looking like this many years later is like, what happened?
Yeah.
What kind of communication, leadership, financial breakdown happened here?
Yep, for sure.
Hope you enjoyed that clip of the Frames Per Second podcast. To check out the full episode, head over to SkillUp's YouTube channel or search Frames Per Second everywhere you get your podcasts.